Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 579, and this is being broadcasted live on YouTube and also back on Facebook. We're testing it out, so you can go to youtube.com/Joseph Clough, Clough, and the same URL pretty much for Facebook, which is facebook.com/Joseph Clough, Clough. Now, in this episode, I want to hopefully impart some advice, some ideas that will hopefully guide you and direct you in the right place. You see, I want to hopefully empower you to think differently, to get you to have different ideas about your life and where you're heading. You see, I don't think we always spend the right amount of time upon ourselves. I think sometimes we can get lost. I think sometimes we can get stuck. Sometimes we can believe more in the noise around us of what people think of us and where we should be heading and what we should be doing, that we get so ingrained and engrossed in other people's opinions that we actually get switched off our path. And I don't care where you are right now, but it's what we do right now. I think within every single one of us there is a light, the light within us, even beneath our conflicts, even beneath all the things that we've gone through. And life is hard. Life will throw things at us. People will say things about you. They will have their own ideas, their own perceptions, and they will try to project it upon you. Now, it's not to say that we must blame them because they just came up to their own conclusion. Usually, it's their own insecurities they are playing out upon you. Now, think about that for a moment. Sometimes we are taking advice or thoughts or feelings from other people who are just ultimately projecting upon you of what they think is true. Now, it's not up for us to judge what they say or what they do, but it is up to us to decide if we should or should not take it on as a truth. Where do they get their beliefs from? Where do they get that projection from? Where do they get that perception of you? Well, maybe they went through stuff, so we can be gentle with them. I think one of the things I heard a long while ago, is that every person was once a child. So even when that child grows up and has these perceptions about us, remember they were once a child who wanted love and wanted respect, and maybe they went through things. So like I said, it's not for us to judge people. It's not for us to put negativity toward them, but instead dissociate from that opinion. If you know me, I always say other people's opinions about you are none of your business. We have to go and listen more on the inside than the outside. And even if it's not about people, it's about society, it's about the media, it's about all the things which is coming at us 24 hours a day at 100 miles an hour, and we're meant to process that information, understand it, and make meaning out of it. But if sometimes we feel a little bit broken, sometimes we feel like life has given us stuff that has caused us to have our own limiting beliefs, it's also easy to understand why we feel like we should accept the person, the people, society, media. It's easy to understand how we may take that on as a truth. Because like I said, life is hard. We go through many things, and it starts to almost cultivate us as a person. But I want us to cultivate where we're heading. You should hold yourself more sacred, your passions, your purposes, your goals, and your dreams. than anything else. Because this is your life. This is your time. We can move from the victim, we can move from the expectation into the victor and our own self-expectations of where we're heading. We can decide something new today together as one, as a group, as a community, that our life, our passion, our heart is worth more. That we are gonna go all in on something because we want it enough. Because every time that you have a goal, there will most likely be someone there trying to damage it. So you've got to protect it. You've got to nurture it. Just like that child. You want to protect the child. Now the dream, the goal is the child in this example. So you've got to remain strong. You've got to consider what you're willing to do, what you're ready to do to take massive inspired action. You've got to be more focused on the goal, more focused as to where you're heading, compared to the attention of the outside world. So protect your dreams so we can make them a reality. So you can be the example of what can be done. Maybe that person or that society or that media, maybe it can be changed. And it may be hard, but maybe the one way of changing other people's minds is not to tell them that they are wrong, but be the example of what can be done so they have permission to do the same. Like that Marianne Williamson, I think. I may be wrong. But we got to protect our dream. We got to stop playing small. I was speaking to someone today, and they were saying that because of their life experience, they felt like a mouse in the corner, like just being meek, playing small. And they realized, or we came to the conclusion together, that they were so ingrained by what this other person did to them, but they thought they weren't able to shine their light. They weren't able to make an impact in the world. They felt like they didn't deserve. Now, maybe you feel like that sometimes. Maybe you feel like you're not capable, worthy, deserving, able to achieve your goals and dreams based on what other people have done or said, or even the events that we've gone through. Maybe we've been rejected 100 times. Even with 100 times rejection, we are going to keep on going and moving forward, because every no leads to the yes. We keep on moving because we keep on growing. We are here to make our imprint on the world. I really, really believe that you being here in this world, and it sounds out there, but I believe you being here in the world means you've made a difference in the world, because your energy makes the difference. Now, we can use that energy for good, or we can remain the victim. And realize the reason why we feel like victims sometimes, because it is easier to feel like a victim. So this may push up against your boundaries right now, and I don't mind that, because it's sometimes good to be tested. You don't have to agree with what I say, but you can at least be maybe open and try things on. But when we are a victim, we usually find reasons to stay the same, or we get like people looking out for us, or they're our lifeboats. Or they're the floaty ringy thing the lifeboat throws out. But what if we just go, do you know what? Even in this storm that we are experiencing right now, even in this conflict, even in the turbulence, maybe this is my opportunity to assume responsibility. Maybe there's my opportunity to do something that will allow me to be the person I've always wanted to. You see, when you were a child, no doubt, in my mind, you were curious. You were open-minded. You probably thought anything could be possible. And somewhere along the way, we got lost. We forgot who we were. We forgot about those dreams. And ultimately, sometimes we're in situations we dislike, the displeasing, the resistance that makes us feel stuck. But maybe if we use that resistance, maybe we actually use it as our superpower. But that resistance can actually make us stronger. You see, I've met many people over the years in different parts of the world, and sometimes my mind is blown how that they can go through so much stress and trauma and still make it because they were resilient. These are the people who went through something, where it be, for example, some immigrants who go to a different country and they have like $10 to their name, and yet they start to go through life and make a difference. What is the psychology of that? That they can go through situations, and this is for many people around the world, and actually thrive because of it. Where they use that resistance as being more precise because they've gone through worse before and they're ready to do whatever it takes. They're ready to improve themselves and actually add value to truly be someone awesome. And the beautiful thing is, the absolute beautiful thing is this: you're no different. You are no different. You may have gone through different examples or different histories, but you still have that essence within you. You still have that part of you, which I know this, and you know this if you're really honest with yourself. If you look in the mirror, there is that part of you wanting to break free. There's that part of you who is sick and tired of remaining the same. There's a part of you which doesn't want to remain the same. And although it may be clouded over, buried by all the stuff and all the noise, it's still there. Sometimes we have to dig deep. Sometimes we can use these moments as the instigator of change. I was talking about this a while ago, and I was saying that, look, we don't change or transform when everything is sunshine, when everything is good and great. Innovation comes when there are small, closed opportunities, where there's not much room to breathe, where there's not many options. So rather going on the outside, you go on the inside to think differently. You look for the gap, you look for the situation that can cause you to grow. That's where innovation happens, when there are no options, which causes you to think of something you've never thought before. To do something different today. If you got a dream, you must protect it. If there's that part of you wanting to reach out, connect with someone, get help from someone, dedicate your time to discover who you really are, to learn and heal from the past. You see, when you learn from the past, not only do you change how you see it, it still happened. We're not doing wishful thinking here. It still happened, but you start to see it in a new lens. You start to learn from it. You start to grow because of it. And therefore, those learnings go out into the future. Those learnings are there, so should something happen in the future, you will be safer because the learnings will protect you. So take a moment right here with me. What is it where you truly want to succeed in? What goals and dreams do you have that you haven't expressed out loud because maybe you were fearful, maybe you didn't feel like you had permission, maybe you were told you shouldn't have them? What dreams do you have? Realize that no one can take away your dream. No one can take away your goal. No one can take away your essence unless you give permission to other people to take it away. So we have to stop buying into those expectations. We're going to stop buying into what other people think of us. I was having another conversation just the other day with someone who I care for very, very much. And they were fearful and they were worried to be able to put themselves out there. And it held so much kind of tightness in their stomach. Like they felt frozen. So I had the opportunity to speak with them for a good hour or so. Like I said, someone I very deeply care about. And I literally just like my main overriding point was, who cares what other people think? Who cares? Be you. Express your thoughts, express your opinions. It doesn't matter if they disagree, that's their right. It doesn't matter if they get offended, that's their right. But just because they're offended, just because they disagree, doesn't make it your issue. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to be you. So that person that I care about deeply took the leap. Said what they had to say. And not only did immediately or within like 5-10 minutes did that feeling in the stomach disappear, but what they realized was that there were so many other people supporting her by making that decision. But the illusion that they had was simply an illusion. The ideas that they had of what other people thought, half of them were illusionary. Yes, some people may have got upset, but you know what? That's okay. We can surround ourselves with people who will also nurture us and nourish us and give us permission. When you are yourself fully and completely, the right people will reach out to you and go, I get you. I felt the same way. I love what you're doing. I wish I could do that. And then you be the example. And guess what? The other people, as I said, it's okay. Some will fall away, and that's okay. Some may throw some resistance at you, and that's okay. It's their right, it's their opinion. Our right is to look after and protect ourselves, to protect our dreams, to do what has to be done. Now, of course, it can take time. It can take like expert help to get to that level sometime, but you can know it. You can articulate it. You can have maybe an epiphany about it right here, right now with me. If it resonates with you, you kind of know you're on the right track. And then you got to take action. Like I said, you may want to get help with this. Maybe you have the imposter syndrome. Maybe you have the inner critic. You can logically articulate maybe everything that I've said resonates with you to a degree. Now it's time to get that other part of you, the unconscious mind, on your side as well, to do the work. It doesn't have to take long. Maybe it's a week, maybe it's 8 weeks, even if it took a year. Do the year, do the 6 months, do the couple of weeks. Because it's better than a lifetime of pain. It's better than a lifetime of missing out in being uniquely you. And I'm so passionate about it because there was a time in my life where I felt I had to play small, just like that person I spoke to today. Where I didn't feel like I could express my thoughts and opinions. Where I felt like everyone was going to criticize me. Or I was going to look silly. I was going to say the wrong thing. I was going to fail. And those 18 years of my life, they were hard. Full of dread, full of anxiety, full of worry, full of doubt that I thought I couldn't go for what I wanted. I was so lost, I even lost who I was. And it took a great and powerful man to tell me this, and here's my father, Paul Clough, taking me to one side one day and going, look, I see that you're unhappy. Maybe you want to look in the mirror here. Is this who you want to be? And of course I said no. But I didn't have an idea. I didn't have a way out. I didn't understand how I could change. Thankfully to my great Father, he guided me. He showed me some ways of transforming. And it set me upon this journey of discovering what is the psychology of happiness, what is the psychology of success, what is the psychology of confidence and self-certainty. But that's when I realized my pain led me to my transformation. My biggest issue became my biggest instigator, which has propelled me to this moment right here, 18, 19 years on, to hopefully help other people in the world. Even if you don't like it, the things that I say, that's fine as well, that's your opinion. But maybe you do like it, maybe you do enjoy this. But realize it came from my pain. It came from my conflicts that I experienced. It didn't come from happiness. And instead I chose to create something anew whilst remembering who I really was beneath the surface. I had to create and cultivate my thoughts every single day. I had to invest in myself, go on many, many journeys along the way, but I do not regret any aspect or any moment of that because my life is overall good and great. I get to do what I love. I get to help people. And this is like a few years ago. I woke up one day and I was like, do you know what? I have not felt not worthy or good enough forever. Like, I cannot even hallucinate what that's like to be like. Yeah, I had it for those first 18 years. You see, if I can do it, and I'm a very simplistic guy, at school, didn't do very well, dropped out of business college, didn't even complete it, in other words, didn't show up to the last one or two exams. And I wasn't a very intelligent guy going to school. I struggled to articulate or consider how I could utilize this stuff. Maybe it was the teachers, maybe it was me, maybe it was my beliefs, whatever it was. It doesn't matter. But if I can do that, if I can do what I'm doing, then do you know what that means? It means you can too. Even if it's not me, there are many examples around the world of people who have been in your situation and overcome it. There's been people who have been in worse situations and overcome it. And that means there are examples. There is a strategy out there that you can apply into your life. But it starts within you. It starts with that assuming responsibility that I refuse to buy into my own reasons. I refuse to buy into my own excuses. I refuse to buy into the victim. Instead, I'm going to be the victor. I'm going to assume responsibility, and it will be hard, but I'm going to push through it because I am resilient, because I've survived through to this point despite all the things I've gone through. You've made it. You are here. So let's come together as a group, as a community, to start making an impact in the world. It starts with you, but we can do this together. We can grow together. We can transform together. We can learn in every single way. But realize it starts with you, which is good because it means you ultimately have the control. It means you're on the first step of transformation. So embrace this moment. One day you'll look back and you'll go, I cannot believe I went through that stuff, came through out the other side, and actually got better because of it. One day you'll look back and you will forget what it felt like to feel that fear or that not worthy or good enough. But it'll be a distant past dream. You'll still respect it. You may even grow to love it, because it taught you so much along the way. But that's the refining, that's the learning, that's the growing of life. Everything goes through a season. The plants, the trees, the crops. There are times when we got to be stronger. We got to push through. We got to grow. That is what it's like to be anything, an animal, a mammal. We are always growing. We just got to be able to be more conscious in our direction. We got to wake up to the fact that we are more powerful than we think, that we are more resilient than what we thought we were, that we got to get on the other side of that false illusionary fear that we have within ourselves, that we realize that fear is illusionary, which was generated because of our past experience. But the fact that it is illusionary, it was learned, it was a strategy, that it does not have to exist. It does not have to stay a permanent fixture in our mind. That inner critic, that imposter syndrome does not have to be that fixture, that ever-present being of you. It's just what you've been doing. It's not who you are. It's not your beingness. It's what you've been doing through learned strategies, through our past experiences. But that's not who you are. You're more than that. You're capable of more. Sometimes someone's just got to say it to you. Whether it's me or someone else. Sometimes someone's got to pull you, even with a bit of tough love. Some of these things I may say have pushed against your boundaries, maybe. Maybe if I say, look, sometimes we enjoy being the victim. Sometimes we get attention from being a victim or from reasons. Not for everyone, but for some of us. Because that's what happens. There's nothing to be ashamed about that. There's nothing wrong with it inherently. But if you want more happiness and success, it's best to be the victim. It's better to be rather the effect side of the equation, to be the cause. In other words, rather being an effect of our circumstance, but to be the cause of our new circumstance we're about to create together. So feel okay about being pushed up against our boundaries. Feel okay that we're ready to learn. Feel okay that we've been through many things, but we're ready to grow because of it and despite it. Be okay that there are other people out there who are further ahead of you, because it's not to compare with them, it's to follow them. You can model their strategy. You can experience the happiness, the wealth, the career success, the business success if you put your mind to it. Without doubt. Without fear. And it may take time. And guess what? It's okay. Anything good and great going for usually takes a bit of time. Usually takes a moment or two, a week or two, for some a year or two. But it's better than a lifetime of feeling locked down. Better than and we've been through a last year or two of feeling locked down. We know what it's like. But some of us have been locked down for a lot longer in our minds, in our fears, in our worries, in our doubts, in our limitations. But realize you are so much more. So much more. We have everything we need. We just got to figure out how to put it together. Got to decide, got to take responsibility and enjoy that journey. Realize it can be a liberating journey of refusing to care about what people think of us because we're speaking our truth. To drown out the outside noise with our internal noise of going, I am going to make things happen. I am going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to be the example of transformation. I'm going to do what is right for me. Maybe you haven't been doing that for a while. Maybe you've been putting other people or other situations ahead of your own happiness. Because you're a nice, good, great person. But sometimes because we're insecure, sometimes because we don't feel worthy of it. But maybe it's time to start putting more attention on you and where you're heading. Maybe there's something within you which wants to go out there and make a difference in the world. And it can be big, it can be small. But there's always that part within you which will always be shouting out, singing as loud as it can be to try to direct you. Sometimes you've just got to sift through the noise of the outside and go, I'm going to listen to my internal dialogue. I'm going to take time to cultivate myself. I'm going to spend 1 hour a day, 1 hour a week, whatever it is for you, to educate your mind, your unconscious mind, to lead you on your path. Because there's always two paths. The path of staying the same and the path of doing something different. And only you can decide that. Only you can really receive that or feel it if that feels good to you. If you can begin to paint pictures in your mind of where you could be. If we give up what other people think, if we give up those expectations of others, of what media and society says or what people think of us. We can always choose something different. That's our choice. That's part of being a human. That is part about being a being, that you have the choice to decide differently. You have a choice to lead your path. And it may be hard, as I said, to be able to, even like forgetting about the external noise, the internal noise that is generated from your unconscious mind, which has been this way for so long. But you got to rein things in. You got to cultivate your unconscious mind. You got to cultivate your thoughts, your feelings, your actions and reactions. You got to begin to love yourself like you've loved nothing else in the whole world. Nurture yourself. Give yourself the freedom of choice. Give yourself the freedom of that path. So I hope you got value from this. I hope hopefully there's a bit of a wake up or a reset. But whatever you got from it, perfect, learn from it, grow from it, disregard it. Whatever feels good to you. And of course, if you need help on your journey, if you're ready to invest, if you are, because there's an investment, it's a business, and it's a transformation. But if you are ready to let go of the inner critic, if you're ready to let go of the imposter syndrome, if you're ready to say, I'm done with the past and I want to be able to up-level my career, up-level my business, all you've got to go ahead and do is go to josephclough.info/power. There you'll be able to watch our masterclass and see if it resonates with you. There's nothing to be sold on. I'm not selling anything on that webinar. Maybe selling a few dreams or a few ideas, but ultimately, you'll see if it resonates with you, and if it does resonate with you, you'll go ahead and then book a call with a team, and therefore we can see if we can solve it, and if we can, we'll let you know. If we can't, we'll point you somewhere else. But if we can, we'll enroll you to our 8-week system, which is fully customized in every way to your needs, and therefore within 8 weeks, your life will be 100% different. You'll be back on track, feeling worthy, deserving, good enough, and capable, something that you may not even felt like for a long, long time. Maybe for many, many years, but that is exactly what we do. Each and every day, in and out. And of course, you can always download the app at freehypnosis.app if you just want to be able to get access to the freeness of all these podcast episodes, as well as hypnosis tracks in day and night form on well over 100 hypnosis sessions, multiple thousands of custom create hypnosis sessions in day, in night form. So you can change in the day, you can change as you sleep. Isn't it awesome? You go to sleep and then wake up different. And of course, if you want to go ahead and write a review, share the love. If you've got value from this, please go ahead and do so. Because that means we can help the world be better. And I think before everyone on the podcast gets this, but a good friend in chat, Kevin, actually said that if we were just a little bit more, I think he said kind, then the world will be a different place if we're just a little bit more kind to others. And to add on to that, remember to be kind to yourself. Because when you do, you'll start to be kinder to others too. And with that, I look forward to speaking to you in a future podcast episode. Many thanks and goodbye.